How's it going?
Here he is. It's John Hedges.
How's it going, mate? You all good?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, buzzing, thank you. All well. Yeah, just enjoying me
Good.
training. Big signing over the weekend, so yeah, all good.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, if people are watching and are not familiar with John Hedges yet, I'm sure you will be soon, but he's the recent signing from Matchroom Boxing and also with SJAM Boxing with Sam Jones. Tell us a little bit about that. How did it get started?
It so I recently won the national youths in the amateurs back in, I think it was March, April time. No, it was March. Tell a lie, it was March, and I got in contact with Sam. As soon as I boxed, I knew lockdown was coming, kind of thing. We all got told. Head of England come and told me, like, listen, John, it looks like the Europeans are going to be called off, so you might have to transfer straight to the World Games. So I was like, yeah, lovely. I'll stay in the amateurs, do the Worlds, hopefully medal out there, if not gold, and then look at turning pro. But then with everything going on, Sam got in contact, and yeah, it hit off from there. Got in contact with Sam. He said, come to the office, went to the office, didn't take no more offers, just I was happy where I was at. And yeah, that's when I decided to make the big move. And yeah, a couple of days ago, big news just been released. I've signed video.
What was that like? We'll come on to obviously Sam and Eddie as we get forward, but you had a lot of success as an amateur. Now, I've spoken to amateurs in the past who have, I mean, Dalton Smith is kind of the example that sticks out in my mind as somebody who enjoyed a lot of success, but through no fault of his own, wasn't able to carry on what he considered to be his amateur dream, going to the Olympics, medaling at the Olympics, etc. What was that like for you? I mean, you enjoyed tremendous success throughout your amateur career, and it came kind of grinding to a shuddering halt all of a sudden. What was that like?
Yeah, my amateur career was amazing, to be fair. I had 44 fights, 40 wins, 4 national titles, GB titles, and then international titles as well. But because of my age, I was 17 when I first signed. Like when I signed with SJAM, it was just before my birthday, and that's when talks were happening. And because of my age, I knew I wasn't going to make the Olympics this year. 2020, it was too soon. I hadn't proven myself in the senior ranks enough for GB to be able to prove to take me. So, as much as I think I'm up there with the GB boys and I would have been a strong contender, I hadn't proven myself, so there was no chance. However, they obviously said, get on the team, you're guaranteed for 2024. But it's a long time to wait, and you know as well as I do, injuries happen and things happen in boxing that it might not end up going through. So I just took my chances. It all come at the right time, and yeah, ended up with a cracking, well, I think the best promotional deal there is.
You mentioned obviously going with Sam Jones and not taking any other meetings afterwards. Sam, by his own admission, is a somewhat polarizing figure sometimes in boxing, grabs the headlines, which is obviously a
Yeah,
big part of what a manager's supposed to do. What was it about Sam that kind of enticed you to SJAM Boxing?
He's out there, and I think he does. He goes a lot further than other managers. He's personal to you. Like, do you know what I mean? He's always on the phone. He's trying to sort your contracts out here, left, right, centre, sponsorship. He does everything he can for you, and I think it really shows. He's passionate with what he does, and he really believes in you. And I think if you've got that with you, you need positive people around you. And Sam's someone who's great to have on your team. He's in your ear. Look, you can do this, champ. You can do this. I'll sort this for you. And he lives up to his word. He's not once since I've been there told me something and that hasn't come true. And he literally lets I express what I want to do, and he makes it become a reality. So yeah, hats off to Sam Jones.
I think I've seen more of Sam in America over the last 6 or 7 months than I have in the UK. Is that something that enticed you in the fact that he has got good connections out in the Vegas gyms and around America? Was that something that you're potentially looking to take advantage of moving forward?
Yeah, most definitely. I want to be out in America like everyone. I want to experience that life. I want to train over there. I want to box over there. Cracking trainers over there. Andy Lee. There's more than that. There's Salas. There's loads, and it's just good experience. And it'd be brilliant for a boy my age to be able to go up there and experience it for myself. So yeah, Sam put us straight in them contacts, and hopefully there'll be a training camp coming 2021 pending due to lockdown.
We're getting a few questions in here. Now, the immediate question, I'm sure you've been asked, or people speak about this all the time, is the fact that you're a giant super middleweight at 6'5",
Yeah.
as well as a southpaw. So, yeah, good luck to the matchmakers for you. We've got a question from Ryan Elliott, who is Boxing Social Zone. Ryan Elliott, as a young 6'5" super middle, what weight do you think you will eventually end up at as a pro? Good question, Ryan.
There's no tellings. I think if I keep developing the way I am, I'll go straight to cruiser. I walk around heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not on my weight ever, ever seeing it, to be honest with you. But I do make it well. My diet's good, nutrition's good, and it's only going to improve as a professional. If I can make it as an amateur, I'll smash it as a professional. And yeah, I 6'5" super middle. I reckon I'll hold that. Like I said, there's no telling. As long as my strength's right, I could hold that 1 year, 2 year. But I think that'll be the maximum, and then I'll be doing light heavy. I think I'll make a big career in light heavyweights.
That's the thing as well, because you're so young, you've still got growing to do. When you fill out, there's no telling when that's going to be. It could be when you're 20, 21. It could be when you're 25, 26.
Exactly. I could shoot up again and go to 6'6", 6'7". There's no tellings, or I could just become a real broad person. Like my dad, my dad's 6'1". He's not massively tall, but he's real wide. So if I fill out like him, then I could go to cruise or even heavy.
Have you always been a big boxing fan? When did you first take up your interest in the sport?
Yeah, I'm proper boxing fan, to be honest with you. I'm like a proper little encyclopedia. I love it. Since 6 years old, I've been mad about it. My brother boxed, dad boxed, and yeah, it's my main interest. You know what I mean? That's all I am. Boxing life or no life kind of thing. So yeah, I'm all about it.
That's good to hear. Sometimes I'll speak to fighters and I'll say, which fighters do you like? Which fighters do you watch? And they go, well, I don't really like boxing. You're like, oh, great. Well, I'm so glad we're doing this interview. When you started off, who were the fighters that kind of inspired you when you were growing up?
As I was starting, like actually taking it serious, obviously at 6, I didn't really know a lot and remember a lot. But when I started having exhibitions and gym shows and that, I was about 8, 9, and it was Fury. Fury was coming through. He had 3, 4 professional fights. Went to see his third one. And I just liked his way about it. Do you know what I mean? He had a lot of confidence. And from a young age, he was a nobody. And he was saying, I'll be heavyweight world champion. And everyone's laughing and things like that. But he went on to prove it now, obviously. But back then, I believed in it. And you're doing something right if you can make a kid believe you're actually going to believe you're going to be that at that age after only 3 fights. And he did. And I love the way that was just a big inspiring thing to me. Do you know what I mean? I always knew I was going to be a tall, rangy fighter because of my family and that. And yeah, always looked up to him. Old school fighters, I'd love Leonard. Just his show, like his classiness. Muhammad Ali, I know a lot of people say about him, but he don't get the credit he deserves now because of the new fighters. But he was unbelievable. But yeah, I'm as much as in the ring as I'm out. I love to keep a nice straight head on me, and yeah, just to be respected, and it's brilliant.
We've got some questions coming in here. Sniper the Boss, Lerone Richards, another S-Jam boxing star of tomorrow. He says, what is your best attribute as a boxer?
I'd say my best attribute is me shot variety. I don't seem to throw the same. I've never always known, as the amateurs anyway, I have a big variety of punches. I like finding angles, and it's yeah, I would say I'm a back foot fighter, but I do like to have a scrap as well. But my variety of punches is what I rely on, and I think I've got good variety. Yeah.
Being a 6'5" super middleweight, fighting on the inside, I'd imagine has its kind of. I'd imagine it's quite an interesting thing for somebody so big at the weight. How are you when you're inside fighting, and is that a big part of your game? Is it something that you're looking to develop as a pro?
Definitely developing. I think if I was to sit here and say I've perfected either, I'd be wrong. But like the inside fighting, mainly I keep my feet in and keep leaning back. Do you know what I mean? So if they're small, they're never going to have the range in you. And it works a treat because you can stay in range but still let your shots off, and just by slipping. So that's a thing what I normally do on the inside. But however, I know I've got to, especially as a professional, be able to dig deep and put my head on their chest sometimes.
Question coming in here. There's a question at the bottom. Sorry, I missed. What weight division is this man? Believe it or not, he's a 6'5" super middleweight. I'm sure that's going to pop up again throughout this live. Sean McCarthy says, would you box behind closed doors, John?
Yeah, most definitely. Listen, it's down to Eddie and obviously Sam and Adam. But yeah, if they give me the opportunity, I'm there to take it. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready to take it. I'm ticking over in camp now. Nothing serious. We're not in no rush. But if that's what they decide, that's the best route for me, then yeah, I'm ready for it.
It's often the case when I speak to kind of ex-amateur stars or people who've had a lot of success as an amateur. I mean, Josh Buatsi is a good example of this. He doesn't care. If it comes to fighting behind closed doors, it doesn't really matter. He said, I've boxed in Kazakhstan in front of 50 people and things like that. Is that what it's like for you as an amateur?
Yeah, definitely. I went to a Ukrainian training camp getting ready for the Euros, and we was in it felt like you was in the slums. Do you know what I mean? It was just, you was in there and you're having gym bouts every day. And as an amateur, you're not used to a massive venue. So it's still bigger than what you're used to, even behind closed doors. So it's going to be, I'm ready for it. And I won the championships. My last fight was behind closed doors. There was a bit of a corruption in English amateur boxing. there was a big kick-off at a show, so they just put all of it behind closed doors. So I'm fresh off boxing from behind closed doors in front of no crowd, so it's quite handy as well.
I remember that. I remember the videos that were going around about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it was mental.
Yeah. One thing was, Mr. Sam Jones, the boss man himself,
There
has
he
turned
is.
up. Big John, I'm sure.
Yes,
Sam,
Sam.
come on, you must have a question for Mr. John Hedges. He's probably typing it out now. Here we go. Boxing dad. Never fought as a senior. What makes you think you can cope with the men?
I've sparred professionals and seniors all my life. From the age of 13, I was a big kid, so I've never put me in with a kid at 13, and without being too confident or anything, I was taking their heads off. So it was always me to go, like, to box the older boys. I never trained in a junior class ever in my life. From the time I started, it was always with the older boys. And yeah, I've been going to Peacock since the age of 14. Pro gyms, sparred Jorge Linares at 15. Do you know what I mean? I've always been sparring big names and professionals since a baby because of the size of me.
You mentioned about training out in the Ukraine. It's just something that kind of popped into my head. I know several fighters obviously been out there. Did you train at the Olympic setup they've got there, the Olympic facility?
Yeah, I trained in the Oblast Mountains, so it's
Yeah.
where Lomachenko goes to do his camps. Yeah, it was brilliant. We went out. There was 7 of us, 7 England boys went out there ready for it was a European training camp. Israel was over there, Mongolia, Belarus, loads of big names. We were sparring every day, but we was having a training camp out there as well. So we was having it like double hard. So we was training in the morning, sparring at night. Where obviously Ukraine was using us as their sparring, so they was just resting up all day and having a big tear up. But that's where do you know what? Them camps were so hard at the time, but I think that's what makes you as a fighter, because you really see another way of life, and you see how lucky you are in England and how you've got it. You couldn't in that camp. There's a man with a fucking shotgun on the corner. You can't even go out. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. It's crazy.
A lot of people I speak to have been over there and trained in the Ukraine. They say it's about kind of taking yourself out of your comfort zone. That must be something that's really good and beneficial for you at such an early stage of your career. Taking yourself away, there's nothing to do. It's in the middle of nowhere, and just living a little bit outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, most definitely. You've got to experience what it's like, so then you know how lucky you are and how you want to compete, and you know what you're against them, don't you? You know what they're doing, so now you know what you got to put in.
Boxing saves lives. John, how has boxing changed your life?
Do you know what? I've always been how I am now, but it's just got me the drive, and I've always wanted to be someone. To be honest, I've never wanted to be that kid who I wanted to be that like a face, like everyone probably says, but I've always wanted to be someone people go, oh yeah, John Hedges is a nice person, and they know him and that. And that was all to do with, as soon as I got into boxing, I started becoming a face, and that was half the reason why I started getting better at it, because I was enjoying it. Like media was getting better, publicity, just saying hello to you down the street, and it's nice. It's nice to inspire younger people, and doing something you love as well.
What would you have done if you weren't a boxer?
If I weren't a boxer, to be honest with you, I think I'd just be. My dad's got a landscaping firm, so like all turf and hedges, lawns. So I'd be probably settled down by now and all sorted, and yeah, just going to graft.
There must be a cool name with that, with a surname like Hedges and having a landscape company. What's it called?
It's Hedges Lawns.
There we go. We like that. Mr. Sam Jones, I was there when he sparred Linares. Now, I've been privileged enough to see George, as obviously Sam has a lot more than I have, but I've seen George in the gym. Now, he is a special talent. What was it like sparring with him? I mean, obviously, you're significantly bigger than Linares, so I was hoping that you weren't bullying him in there, because he's a nice fella. But what was that like, sharing the ring with him?
Oh, I wish I was bullying him. He was was too sharp, mate. He was unbelievable. I was only 15, so it was a couple of years back now. We went down to David A's gym, and it was brilliant. It was more, he was sparring. He was getting ready for Luke Campbell, so he wanted southpaws, and he wanted obviously range as well. And I went down there. I was with Henry Turner, another pro, and being 15, Henry was older than me, so he had a bit more body shape to him. Do you know what I mean? I was still quite immature in me look, and they didn't really think I was going to get in the ring. And they said, "What weight are you, son?" Because I was like this skinny fat man, if you like. Like, I looked bigger than what I was. Jumped on the scales, and I was weighing only like 70, 69. They said, "Yeah, come on, let's spar." And to be honest with you, it was the best experience I've ever had in sparring. George weren't taking liberties or nothing, and we stood there in the centre of the ring. And it was good for learning for both of us. He was finding his range and finding his feet and things, and I was keeping it long. Yeah, it was brilliant. Unreal experience. And then I met Sam that day actually. Never thought I'd ever be working with him now, obviously, but yeah, he was there that day doing all the media with David.
George, as well as being a great fighter inside the ring, absolute diamond of a fella outside of it.
Yeah, it absolutely spot on. Him and Salas that day was like angels to me. Do you know what I mean? They're in a world title camp, and they're inviting me in, let me enjoy the sparring, let me make most of the facility. So yeah, hats off to both of them.
How's your trash talking? Interesting question.
We trashed it. You know what? Look, I know you need a bit of trash talking to sell a fight and whatever else, but I don't think I need that. Do you know what I mean? I've trained myself as a gentleman. I'm not going to be this big hypocrite. Call myself Gentleman John and then coming on there effing and blinding. Don't think you need it. I just think you sell a fight, just being yourself. And if the fella I'm fighting wants to give it the big and let him do it, and then I'll crack him in the ring.
I think that's a very healthy attitude to have to it. I think too many people these days in the kind of the world of social media feel that they need to make noise, and at the end of the day, fans aren't stupid. They can tell when it's contrived and it's not.
You can tell
real.
when it's moody, yeah. And yeah, listen. Would you rather be like watched because someone likes you, or watched because they're looking to see you get beat? I know you're both selling tickets either way, but there's always one that you want to be, don't you? So I don't want to be the big hated name. I want to be the person everyone's like, go on, I hope this kid does well. Do you know what I mean? I hope he goes all the way. And I think that's just being yourself, and you get that. And hopefully I do get a big mouthy fella coming up to me soon, because that just makes you turn up more, doesn't it? It makes you want to just show him up in front of people.
And plus, you've got Sam Jones anyway. You've got old sidecar Sam to give him abuse, so you're fine.
Hey, Sam, that's exactly. What do I need to do? I'll let Sam take the blunt.
Ruben Guerrero says, "Who's the best pro you've sparred?" And obviously, we just spoke about Linares. So outside of Linares, if he was going to be the number one answer,
Yeah, Linares would have been number one, but I'd say to actually say rounds in, like proper classy rounds, up and coming Denzel Bentley quite recently. The man can bang. I know he's only a middleweight, but I was weighing 75. He was weighing 74, so it was a proper even spar. And me and him was having it off. It was if you could have watched that sparring, you would have. Everyone would have. You should have paid money for it because it was class. Yeah, Denzel Bentley, Danny Dignam, also big on the scene now, like European champion and that. Me and Danny have done loads of rounds together, big family mates and that. To who else now? And also, I've got a boy down my gym. He don't get a lot of recognition. He's 8-0, Connor Wright. He was on the Billy Joe Saunders undercard. He's a good spar. He's the same as most fighters, cracking fighters and not getting the publicity. But yeah, he's a big shout out to him as well.
Yeah, good. Very interesting that you would mention Denzel Bentley. Do you know what fight? People keep talking about like fights behind closed doors, and the one fight that I've not been able to get out of my head, and I don't know why, it's just randomly stuck in my head for a domestic fight, would be Jack Cullen versus Denzel Bentley. I reckon that'd be a right tear up. Yeah,
definitely. Absolutely, definitely. Both cracking fighters. Denzel's got the power. Jack Cullen, I think Denzel will beat Jack, personally, but I don't know. Jack Cullen's got a bit more. Denzel's very unorthodox, you know. Like he don't come at you with one. We've sparred and he's been square on and he's still hard to it. Do you know what I mean? So he's very unorthodox in his style, and it just depends if Cullen can keep to his boxing. But yeah, that's definitely a cracking fight.
Yeah, interesting fight. Cullen throws a lot of punches. He's long, he's awkward, and obviously Denzel Bentley carries a lot of power. So I like that fight, and I don't know why it popped into my head one day, and I've not been able to stop thinking about it.
No, definitely, because if Cullen tries keeping him long, how long can he keep him long for? Do you know what I mean? They're both fresh to that kind of like that level sort of thing. So it's a cracking fight.
Another question here. Sab Leo, your trainer, has been a big influence on your career.
Yeah, exactly that. I moved to him at the age of 12 from Repton. So I was in a big London club. Went there, fat, overweight. He sorted me right out. Went on a 16-fight win streak. Won 4 national titles with him, won GB titles with him, all my international titles with Sab Leo. And yeah, he got me in. Remember, I weren't getting myself in Peacock for the sparring in Jorge Linares. Sab was the one with the contacts getting me in there. And if it weren't for him, I don't think I would have got the deal I've got now. Plus the person I am now. He has moulded me into this person.
Richie Todd says, which venue is John wanting to fight at the most?
Oh, there's some dreams. If I could sit here now and say the one and only venue I'd love to perform in would be get me out to America, MG at Madison Square Garden, get me straight in there, mate. Don't care, undercard, big fight, whatever. Get me out there and have a fight in there. That's a dream come true.
Yeah, that would be good. MSG's a great atmosphere. MGM Grand, I think I'm not a fighter, obviously, but if I was going to fight MGM Grand, actually, but probably not. If I was going to fight, I'd want to fight somewhere where no one could see me get beat up. But maybe not that. Thomas Lyons says, what does it mean to be representing the traveller community, bridging the gap between the likes of Dennis McCann and Tyson Fury, mixing it with world-class operators in the long run?
Yeah, me and Dennis, very good mates, boxed with each other for years. And yeah, so me and Dennis get along very well. Tyson, I've met a couple of times, but we don't know each other personally, to be honest. Yeah, it's brilliant. Travelling boxing is the biggest it's ever been, in my opinion. And it's great to be part of it. I think these last couple of years, including this year and the next, I think are going to go down in history for us, especially our community. And yeah, it's good. It's good to see us all doing good and getting publicity for the right things, because as you all know, we all get tarnished kind of thing with the same brush with some certain people, and it is what it is. It don't really affect me personally, but I think we're doing good for ourselves, and hopefully it starts changing people's perceptions.
It's interesting you'd say that. I mean, you obviously mentioned the fact that you watched Tyson Fury when he was just starting out, and that inspired you. Spoke to Andy Lee. I speak to Andy Lee fairly regularly. Spoke to Andy Lee a couple of weeks ago, and he'd said, when he was coming up as a traveller fighter, there wasn't that many people from his own community to look up to. Now, as you mentioned, there's Dennis McCann, there's Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders, obviously Andy Lee himself, although now recently retired. How much of an inspiration is it to see these guys go on and achieve big things? And as you say, give a positive reputation and give a positive light on the travelling community.
Yeah, it's as you just said, it's unbelievable, because there was a Channel 4 documentary not long ago which got a lot of abuse from our community, giving back to Channel 4, and Channel 4 obviously giving us abuse. But the main thing is, yeah, everyone's an independent person. Like, there's no right or wrong in it, is there? Do you know what I mean? If you're a nice person, you're a nice person. Don't matter whether you've got a certain religion, you're from a certain community. The main thing is you do good for yourself. If you let yourself down, then you've got no leg to stand on. Do you know what I mean? If you go out there doing the wrong things, then you deserve the bad publicity. Do you know what I mean? You deserve to get you deserve what the people are saying. But if you're doing everything right, it's not fair, is it, to be having like times with a bad name?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it is certainly from my perspective, it's refreshing to see, the traveller community get the props and get the credit, because people who necessarily aren't as informed as some boxing fans, you go to national titles or top amateur boxing events, they're full of young traveller kids who are really very, very successful. So it's nice to see them now translate that into the professional game.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest with you, if you said 6 years ago, no one was really doing it. Everyone get to 16, win multinational titles, win European titles, travelling kids, and then pack up. But since the breakthrough, since Tyson and Billy Joe are making it for us, we're all having a bit of faith and all believing in ourselves, and we're all doing it.
While we're hovering around the subject of Tyson Fury, now, I'm not going to ask you, actually I will, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, that's the big fight that's been spoken about. Break that fight down for me.
Me personally, like, obviously, signing with Matchroom, he's part of me stable now, kind of thing. But I do believe Tyson Fury would beat him. For the pure fact, I do think he's the best heavyweight at the moment. However, there's no telling. They're both cracking fighters. You can't take it away from neither of them. Do you know what I mean? AJ's proved himself, and they can't say, like, I know he had a bad performance against Ruiz, but styles make fighters at the end of the day. And that style don't suit AJ. AJ don't like someone small, non-stop. If you look at his amateur career, the smaller fighters was who he struggled with most. So maybe Tyson Fury suits him, and in the gym they're doing the right thing. But personally, I think Tyson beats him.
Yeah, I think it's important you make a very good point there about the issues that he's had with shorter fighters in the past, not just obviously Andy Ruiz. He had some issues with Carlos Takam, the smaller heavyweight. You mentioned the amateurs, Mihai Nistor stopped him, another shorter heavyweight.
Short stopping,
So that's a very, very interesting breakdown. And just as well, you broke it down just enough that we knew what you were saying, but not too much that you're going to upset anybody. So well done.
Thank you.
Right, guys, have we got any more questions in for young John Hedges? We've still got a little bit of time. Try and skim through some of the questions, see if we've missed any. While I'm doing that, if anything pops up, John, just let us know. Daryl Williams versus Felix Cash from Thomas Lyons. That's an interesting fight. I didn't know Daryl Williams was still fighting.
I didn't know that actually. I think I'd put Felix as a big favourite.
Mm.
Daryl was good, but yeah, I think Felix is another class now. I think he'll be going on to world titles before you know it.
He's somebody who I've really liked the look of Felix Cash as a pro, and I don't think that he's always necessarily got the opportunities that his talent deserves. His fight with Jack Cullen, I mean, obviously we were talking about Jack Cullen very recently.
Yeah,
That was a brilliant fight. Brilliant fight.
yeah, it was. Felix is aggressive, and I think he gets overlooked sometimes, but he's an aggressive fighter. And I've never sparred him, so I don't know, but he looks like he packs the punch. So yeah, he's a cracking fighter.
Yeah, he can punch a little bit.
And that had a good GB background as well, so he's experienced as well, isn't he?
I completely agree. Umar IFL, is he fed up of Sam Jones yet? I don't know if Sam's still in here, but we'll keep it between us.
Umar's trying to stir, isn't he? Nah, Umar, mate, he's all good. He's all good. He's on good behaviour.
We has to at the minute because he has to make a good impression. What's it been like for you? I mean, obviously you've turned over, and we're in the position now where nobody really knows where we are with boxing. What's that like for you? You must be chomping at the bit to get started as a professional, and there's no boxing on.
Yeah, I can't wait to get started. I've done a session. Look, he's just commenting on it now. Sadly, I've done a session this morning with Sab. I'm training twice a day, so yeah, I feel good. Yeah, I can't wait to get started, to be honest. But it's all a waiting game. We're not in a rush. I've got work to be doing. Do you know what I mean? I've got to get fit. I've got to get strong. But when it is time, don't worry. I'll be raring to go, and I'll put on a great performance.
Okay, right. Well, I think we're probably about there. The good thing about this, there's been a nice pace to it. I like it. Very good. You speak very well, and I'm sure hanging around with Sam Jones, your speech will even improve. So
Lovely. Thank you.
No problem at all. John Hedges, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. And I look forward to hopefully seeing your professional debut sometime soon.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, hopefully, please God, everything go well. And yeah, I'll be making a statement soon. But yeah, thank you very much for having me on it.
No problem at all. Gentleman John Hedges, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Cheers, mate.